material.
See, like, I think you guys, I see you guys
balls.
wearing the, like, garbage bags with just holes cut in them with, like, just, like, condensed out, like, wrapped together, like, tied together.
Put, like, the vacuum seal tube and it just sucks it.
Yeah, you gotta get your own vacuum and be like...
Yeah, it just sucks all.
I mean, based on the name, From Lock would be a much better, like, ball deodorant. Like, it's an antiperspirant, so it just doesn't sweat.
That's true.
It locks in the flavor.
Locks in the freshness.
See, the thing about the products that we created is just like no one would ever.
Oh, yeah.
Ball butter? Are you kidding me? Google that right now.
That's true. There is ball butter.
They have,
ball butter.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if you've ever tried.
That's going to be
cologne
our
down
commercial
there,
next week. Ball gravy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's probably on your website.
I feel very uncomfortable saying that.
I think we already have the product for next week.
There it is.
We already come up with a name.
Organic. This
Perfect.
Put your names in the
Organic,
comments.
yeah.
Ball gravy.
I don't want to have to commit to that one. Like,
Organic ball gravy? Why not? Come on.
Maybe do
It just rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah.
No, but
ball gravy is what you get if you don't buy from Underlock. Buy from
That's
Underlock.
true. That's true.
Stop ball gravy today.
All right, let's get into our meat and potato conversation.
Yeah.
We had something that I posted on the Facebook site, and I don't know. I didn't really read the entire story, but I know that it involved a how old was he? 14, I believe.
I think 17.
Was he 17?
17.
I know he was underage.
17 for sure.
An underage child going into a store and stealing beer from the convenience store, and then having the clerk follow him out, fire off a couple rounds. He never knew that he hit the kid when he fired the rounds out.
Yeah, because you never hear a kid scream, "Ah, my back!"
Well,
a lot of the time, you don't scream when you get shot.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure he was like very.
My question, right, is how do you shoot? How do you aim and hit the kid when you have the gun in the air, fire the shots of like they do in like Afghanistan?
Oh, I'm sure we were shooting at the kid.
Yeah,
But then there's
shows
such thing as
intent.
gravity.
Shows intent, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have footage of him firing the gun outside, right?
I would imagine. Yeah.
I would assume so if there was a security camera.
Here's my thing, though. It's $2 in beer.
That's a victimless crime.
Like,
Victimless crime right there.
for $2, you can only get yourself one can of Pringles this day and age. Like, if you come in, like, you three guys are like, oh, like, we're going to go steal from Durden's Beer Shack, right? Like, eventually, I just have someone paid to look like a hobo, so when you go and grab the beer and go to run out, he trips you, and I just catch you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm smart, because I already have you on camera stealing 5-pounders off me.
Well, there's two sides to this whole story, right? You have the guy who is, who's spending his livelihood inside this convenience store. He's behind a register. He sees these kids coming in and out, stealing his stuff all the time. At what point do you say enough is enough? You know you have the gun, and I'm not justifying him shooting the kid by any means, because that should have been a way last resort. But what kind of precautions do you have from the store? Like, what are you doing where you're just not calling the cops and instead taking out judge, jury, executioner on a child?
Hire security, man.
Like, that probably would have been number one on my list. I would have been like, look, either you need some type of lockdown system, you need to call the cops. Maybe even a baseball bat would have been a better option than a gun. But I don't know what kind of area that was. I don't know if he's, reportedly having problems. Maybe this kid came and stole off him, 10, 15 times maybe. And you're just like, you're at that point where you're like, man, I'm sick and tired of these kids stealing from my livelihood. This is what I'm working for my life, Like, and you're having kids steal from... That's like me coming to steal from you. And every time I come and steal from you, I might be taking a pack of gum. I might be taking a candy bar. But I'm still taking from you.
But, like, if the guy had shot somebody who was after his family or his kid or his home but when we're talking about stuff that's insured by businesses, right? Yeah. And we're talking like, okay, so you don't punish the guy for a $2 beer, where does it end? Like, are you shooting someone for a pack of juicy fruit that's 25 cents? Like, really, at the end of the day, like, there has to be like, you have to understand that. I mean, a $2 pounder is not, the way to end your life, or like two families got ruined that day because of a kid grabbing a pounder. Sure. I just find it ridiculous. Like, I think as an adult, like, I have other things. Like, if a pounder is what's really going to make or break me in a business, then I really shouldn't be in a business to begin with.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, like I don't even buy into the first. Like, there's absolutely zero justification to even pull the gun in the first place.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be for self-defense.
It's a deterrent for if someone robs you.
Yeah, I feel like it would still be overkill, but the most that would have been acceptable is for him to put it on the counter and say, this is like the 80th time, put the beer back.
Yeah.
And then if the kid, still, if that isn't enough for intimidation, just call the police.
Yeah.
If the kid is frequenting your place and stealing, the cop's on speed dial. The kid's in, you can text them now and be like,
sure.
Yeah, there's a known thief in there. You have previous footage. The cops go there. You hand them the tape. They arrest the kid on probable cause. Boom. You save a life. He's also 17 years old. There's zero reason to even pull the gun, let alone fire it,
Agreed.
let alone chase him out of the store.
Yeah.
There'd be a defense if the kid robbed the guy at gunpoint and then the guy followed him out and shot him then.
Yeah.
There'd still be like, you shot him in the back. You get him in the leg on purpose if you're that big of a marksman. But no, that's just absurd. I would have joined them rioting over the guy, over the kid getting shot to begin with. It's so ridiculous.
No, the rioting has spilled into hate crimes. It's classified as a racism crime now. A lot of huge black leaders from the community have come out and are like, "Oh, it's just another young black child who is taken down in his prime." Well, in one instance, he's a thief. He stole from a local business.
Yeah, here's the hell color he is.
Yeah, regardless of what color he is. So people are trying to make it into something bigger than what it is, instead of just. And I mean, I justify the means of him getting arrested. He's actually he just got out of his sentencing hearing, and he got second-degree murder.
No, the conviction hearing. So he was convicted
hearing,
of second degree
yes.
after a 4-day trial. So second-degree murder. And then somewhere on here, it says that I think it's next week.
Yeah, next week will be
or
sentencing.
In the beginning of September will be the actual sentencing on how long he gets.
But like I said, I mean, like, this goes back to Walmart, right? Would you see this new trend on Walmart? Like, help us. They have a picture of Ryan and says, help us, we need to get in touch with Mr. Williams. He forgot his shoes here when he grabbed the TV.
Yeah.
Why do you... Listen, first off, right, like, you got your own security staff, all right?
Yeah, launched a loss prevention department in the store, generally. You
got a whole department of people that have the tools and the capabilities to come and get you when they can find you.
Sure.
But yet they're going to blast you on Facebook, and people are going to be like, I saw Ryan at his girlfriend's house, or I saw Ryan here. Like, why are you snitching on somebody? Like, if Ryan got himself a TV, good for Ryan. Like, I'm not jealous or mad at him for getting what he got. I'm not going to rat on him.
We either advocate for theft or we don't.
Yeah, but like, I side with you compared to a global conglomerate that doesn't care about me.
So that argument would have worked a bunch of years ago. So the way that it worked was Walmart distribution would buy products. So they would purchase it from, say it is a TV, so it's from Sony, Panasonic, Sharp, etc. And then Walmart was the owner. Now the way that it works is those companies lease space on the shelves. So if you steal a Sony TV from Walmart, you're not stealing from Walmart, you're stealing from Sony. And there's a certain amount of insurance that goes into those things. So if you wanted to make like the moral argument of it's better to steal from, Walmart, because Walmart sucks and puts small business out, whatever, you want to go down that train, that's fine, but it doesn't apply anymore because of the way that, those
they're just a middleman company that purchase products from a bigger company.
But even
they don't actually purchase them, so they just take them.
They're just a holder.
Even then, if they lease it and someone steals it, the Waltons will have to pay for it. Right?
There's
out of pure profit. Yes.
Of loss
so why am I caring about what the Waltons do? Like people. What really gets me in this whole generation, everything is we don't want to stick up for us. We want to stick up for we're not mad or upset that Netflix didn't get anything for their federal taxes that they had to pay. because we're still going to pay the $4 increase. So why did they give you an increase when they were already making how much money non-tax? Because they saw an opportunity to make more money, right?
See, it's weird that you have the argument that not necessarily because they're a business, but because they're a multi-million-dollar conglomeration, that they have insurance, so they're not going to worry about a TV so much as, Joe and John Public, who's striving to get their business going because they're actually getting taken out by Walmart.
Yeah, I'm sympathetic towards the mom and pop shops that are no longer existing. I grew up I know we mentioned this before in Blockbuster. I worked at Blockbuster, so for me to understand, mom and pop shops and Redbox and this and that, at the end of the day, right? We can argue and debate about socialism, this, that, the other thing, but we're already a socialist country. People just don't want to admit to it because we've socialized everything. We've given social programs when it comes to the bank bailouts, to the car industries, to Wall Street, to the housing markets, now to the farmers. We just don't want it to be socialist for the people. Because when the people understand that they have the power to raise up and do what they... you could have 100 senators down in Washington that want to vote on this and that, but if 15,000, 20,000 of us decide to circle that building and start chanting and going crazy and letting people know, how do you think our ancestors got to where they are? We didn't just say, oh yeah, the Crown's going to give us another tax. If the Crown was to come down and say they were going to raise 6% like Scranton is, people would just go up in arms and go crazy because...
we're all not paying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And now people just go, oh, well, what are you going to do? You can't fight. Living in Scranton, all you hear
can't
is...
fight City Hall.
Yeah, but you can, though. Because
you can. People. And here's the thing. People are still going to pay that 6.7%.
For 5 years, it ends up being 30%.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is people can't stop it. You can't stop not paying as compared to the 30 people who are not the 30, let's say 30% of people who are going to pay as compared to the 70% who are not.
Yeah, but see, though, that's the other thing, right? Is so you have to hold the people that you have in office accountable.
Oh, sure.
So, your senators, your congressmen, all those people have to be notified that you're not going to pay this because if it does come down the pipe, how can I say it? We've just become a culture that's just we'll just take it as it goes. As to where, if our founding fathers saw that we were giving out money like they are now and just adding on, right? What do you think they would do?
We taxed on tea and we burned a bunch of boats.
That's what I'm saying. And now it's just just
Washington would have had heads rolling by now.
All it would have taken is one educated person to rile up a whole group of people. You know what I mean? Because think about it. We said Honey Boo Boo. Honey Boo Boo's fan base, if it lived in Scranton, Honey Boo Boo could say, hey, we're not going to pay this tax, and people would follow her. But when you hear your neighbors talking, no one wants to jump in the boat with you and say, hey, this is what's going to happen. All it takes is one sign in the front yard for someone to say, hey, where'd you get that sign? You go, oh, well, I got a couple. Just if your friends want them, let me know, and I'll get them printed out.
Yeah, but that's the jumping off a bridge mentality. I'm going to jump off a bridge, are you going to follow me?
No, but you're comparing jumping off a bridge to saying I'm not going to pay a tax anymore because
So you're going to lose your house because you didn't pay taxes.
They're going to force me out of it. You're talking to me.
It's a foreclosure. You're going to lose your house.
Yeah, but senior citizens that are cutting pills in half so that they're able to pay their
lose their house if they don't
and that's
pay.
The city. That's not shame on the city because it's not their fault that it's poorly managed. You know what I mean? What
do you mean it's not there? Of course it's there. It's everybody's fault. It's not just one particular person. As I said in previous podcasts, people need to wake up. They need to realize what's going on around them. But you can't be hey, one day I'm not doing anything, and then the next day you're rising up against the city government. Because at that point, what are you doing? What are you getting yourself into? Because A, you don't know how to get there. But then all of a sudden you're oh, they're taking my house away.
But nobody knew where they were going when they started the journey to begin with. Martin Luther King didn't have an answer to the march. He just was going to keep going.
Hence why we have voting.
But in the same aspect, voting could have been resolved many years ago, and it was only a white man's thing for a long time. And then finally, when the Constitution was written, They could have resolved all those issues, but it was a compromise because the southern states wouldn't sign on.
I didn't vote for Don